Fortnite Season 5 got leaked just now, meaning we're going to be staying in Chapter 3 when December 3rd arrives. Despite that being the case with the addition of today's 22.30 update, however, we may already have a look at one of the possible Chapter 4 islands, yes, you heard that right, which we're going to be revealing, alongside everything else to do with how the season's ending, the live events, and just so much more contained within this update itself, so it's vital you stick around until the end of today's video, as you also just witnessed a mirror get smashed, which means 7 years bad luck if you don't, I wouldn't risk it. In yesterday's video, I asked you guys if you knew the name of this bundle, and tons of you are on screen right now that got it right, so for today I'm going to ask you guys, what is the name of this? Make sure to comment down below now, and if it receives a heart, there's a high possibility it could be shown on screen in the very next one. To see that as soon as it's posted too, make sure you leave a like in this video, subscribe with all notifications turned on, and I also want to give a huge shout out to the Friendly Fam, obviously rocking code FM1 inside the Fortnite item shop, one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter, only being 3 digits long. But with that said, now 22.30 just released, enough time's been wasted, we need to dive into it all, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm not, I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
So before we deep dive into how this season's going to be ending through a live event transitioning into Season 5 after downtime lifts, I figured in today's update we recap everything in like a minute of what's been added either in the game or the coding. Okay, first of all, here are all the leaked cosmetics on screen added in today's update version 22.30, despite one that you'll see upon logging on hopefully after receiving your Inquisitor skin for the November crew pack. This is instantly noticeable upon opening your Quest tab with literally 4 new tabs added, meaning more than 4 nightmares in terms of the free rewards we can earn now, not only through the Herald pages 1 and 2 that are fully revealed, the free Chrome Punk skin which we literally have 8 weeks and 4 days at the time of me recording to unlock, obviously by earning 50 account levels, which will be quite easy considering Season 5 starts in less than 8 weeks. Of course we have Skywalker Week now with not only these cosmetics in the item shop, again make sure to use code FM1 if you want to be an absolute legend and support me and the channel, which actually came along with an incredibly cool trailer actually introducing, well, Darth Vader back onto the island itself, with Darth Vader returning for this Skywalker Week as a mythic boss that we can defeat to not only get his lightsaber, but despite obviously Luke Skywalker's blue and green lightsabers shown in the trailer that we can get as mythic weapons. Of course, for him to land down on the island, Imperial outposts have returned, meaning, well, we can get the blasters, which literally have unlimited ammo and only need to recharge after spamming them. And with Fortnite Mares recently ending, it kind of feels like a second update, considering not only has the Herald been introduced, but now the Horde Rush quest with Pickle Rick as a back bling for completing 8 of the Horde Rush ones. There's a total of 9, so feel free to pick the easiest 8 or leave the hardest one out of this, I guess. Of course, this is another collaboration with Rick and Morty, which Fortnite released a secret trailer for introducing Pickle Rick into Fortnite over on their Twitter, and for those that don't know, well, what Pickle Rick is or why it's so hype or everyone's talking about, it's because of this scene.
I'm Pickle Rick!
And again, from taking a look closer up this time though at the leaked cosmetics in 22.30 itself, what do you notice? Something interesting, perhaps lore related or implying the return of a very beloved character? If you manage to focus in on this particular spray, well, basically showing the clash of gold and chrome, implying Midas's return, then make sure to give yourself a pat on the back. Although Midas didn't return again for Fortnite Mares in his shadow or undead form after people thought he initially died in the Season 3 trailer for Chapter 2 by being eaten by this shark, Donald must have confirmed in this Twitter video, well,
Midas is great. And not dead.
And hopefully with the spread of the chrome in Stage 3 now actually making its way around the Devourer's skull, which is important and tying to the live event ending off this season, which we're going to be further discussing, actually revealed and teased through one of the cosmetics. For those that haven't followed the journey this season, Stage 1, just Herald Sanctum, initially introduced, shown, constructed in the cinematic trailer for Season 4, then Stage 2's main spread, obviously being what you're seeing on screen right now, and finally Stage 3, which seems to be seeping into Tilted Towers. We know it's still yet to spread considering Greasy Grove is still unaffected, as we saw in the Battle Pass trailer. There was not only the chrome tornado in the background, but it was entirely consumed in it, the POI itself. This alone, revealed on day 1 from the Battle Pass trailer, actually makes things very interesting based off what we're about to dive into now, the live event obviously leading into Season 5 and the direction of the storyline. And taking a look at the map, as you can see, Greasy Grove, yes, it's unaffected, and we can see the lines of the chrome where it's seeping out of or spreading to, like Tilted Towers, literally just touching it now. As Fortnite have already confirmed version 22.40, the last downtime update of this season to be releasing the 15th of November 2022, so in 2 weeks onwards from today. It's safe to say this is the update that not only Greasy Grove is infected, but we could then be seeing progressive map changes of the chrome in hotfixes almost every day leading up to the 3rd of December that's currently stated on the Battle Pass, when this season, Chapter 3 Season 4, actually ends, because of one of the cosmetics that came along with the Herald today that got decrypted on page 2. Despite the really cool looking selectable style, it happens to be this loading screen called Nothing is Happening, perhaps meaning the nothing, whatever it is, whether it's a skin, a person, person or a faction is, well, happening on the Fortnite island. With it already being confirmed prior to this update 22.30 that the Heralds is a part of the last reality, the same faction of which the Cube Queen was from that actually kind of ended last chapter or flipped the island over but failed in her mission. From taking a closer look at this loading screen, people are not only comparing it to Cube Queen based loading screens, but more specifically what's interesting is, as you can see, the Herald seems to be activated and in-game at the reality tree, which is not only consumed in Chrome itself, but as you can see, it seems to be like a sea of Chrome at the bottom, almost flooding entirely the Chapter 3 island. Perhaps this was the goal of the Herald all along, initially being revealed at the end of the Season 3 of Chapter 3 cinematic trailer, looking at the reality tree despite looking at the reality tree through this ball at Herald Sanctum now, perhaps planning out exactly what it wants to do. With it being rumoured that the Herald knows the past, the present and future of what's going on or is going to happen or has happened in the world of Fortnite, what's even more interesting in terms of the page 2 cosmetics is this emote. Believe it or not, because this emote got added in today's update, in the game's coding, the textured for it got blown up by other data miners, and as you can see, there seems to be Fortnite islands or versions of a Fortnite island that we've never seen before in a very minimalistic form that probably Epic Games didn't think we'd pay too much attention to, as they didn't have to have a crazy design for such a small thing that we can barely even see anyways, being the island inside this orb, or islands, the versions of them. It doesn't just stop there either, it gets even crazier, as potentially we're going to be seeing an event similar scale to Galactus, yes, you heard that right, for this season Chapter 3 Season 4, as it's the same time last chapter of when this initially happened in Chapter 2 Season 4, with the Galactus event countdown numbers, textures getting re-added into the game's coding, which for those that don't know looked like this in-game before the Galactus event actually started, in the helicarrier before we started a game, and considering we didn't see a live event in Chapter 3 Season 3, it's safe to say they've had a whole lot of time to work on this, which we know from the game's files. As you can see, G-Matrix Games stated prior to the release of this season even that they're already working on what seems to be the Season 4 event, as they seem to be updating a certain server implying that this is the case. This was found at the same time of which they accidentally updated the test map in the game's files to Asteria, fitting the Greek mythology theme of all of the other codenames for the prior islands, Chapter 1 being Athena, Chapter 2 being Apollo, and Chapter 3 being Artemis. With it being previously implied that we're going to be going into Chapter 3 Season 5 from data miners and insiders such as Tom Henderson, it's now actually been kinda confirmed. Not only, as you can see on screen right now, has FNBR Intel stated Epic are currently working on the downtime countdown timer for the end of the season event, which we don't see unless we're transitioning into a new season, as chapter transitions either put us into the likes of the black hole with no timer there, basically saying when servers are going to be live again, or this progressive stage of washing up slowly onto the Chapter 3 flipped island. Speaking of Tom Henderson and Season 5 being confirmed, however, as you can see, he stated in this tweet, attaching an article which we're going to be diving into with more intel inside, looks like plans have changed a little from what this article says, and the report has updated with what will happen. Also doubling down that the next season is Chapter 3 Season 5 and not Chapter 4, so from opening this with that kind of initial interest we find, not only does it confirm the Battle Pass date is correct for this season ending, Chapter 3 Season 4 will end on December 3rd with an event that will end with gameplay being disabled. It's understood that around 12 hours later a patch for Fortnite 23.00 will release and server downtime will start for 4 hours. It then states, as we initially believed the next season was starting December 5th, instead Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 5 will start on December 4th at 8 AM or 9 AM EST. For those wondering why Chapter 4 was initially speculated about, however, despite all of the hints in-game and resemblances to how the Cube Queen ended off Chapter 2, as you can see, the original article post basically surmises this. Prior to the announcement of Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 4 releasing, I reported on Twitter that Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 5 will start on December 5th, 2022. Sources have said that this date remains accurate, with the season scheduled to start at 1500 hours UTC. Most importantly, Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 4 is scheduled to end on December 3rd, initially indicating that there'll be around 2 days of downtime between the seasons. This of course only ever happens as we're transitioning from chapter to chapter again, without a screen basically telling us the exact time of when downtime would be ending and we'd be able to update the game to play the new season. So with us now knowing that yes, Chapter 3 Season 5 is what's happening next season, or at the end of this one starting December 4th, 2022, are you guys excited or delighted to hear this instead of Chapter 4? Disappointed? Happy? Make sure to let me know your opinions down below in the comments of this video, and slap a like, however, if you're excited for this season's huge live event to end it off regardless. Whilst you're at it, subscribe with all notifications turned on so that you don't miss any future uploads now, especially as we approach the ending of this season, the most interesting time of Fortnite in my opinion. Speaking of other uploads though, I picked out this video for you specifically on screen right now for your next destination, so hopefully most importantly I can catch you in the next upload I do post on the channel.